uncertain future because of the tenure of the site was up for grabs. We thought we might end up losing the site and then wondering where we operated from. So initially it was a stand back and think about where are we going and what do we want to try and achieve. We did a number of member surveys to try and get an understanding of why did people come to the club, what did they want out of the club, but more importantly what would keep them at the club, what did they want in future years, and where did they see themselves going, as well as where did they see the club going. And that then also fed into working with the committee and really importantly the coach team, because we haven't got a bunch of coaches, I don't actually have a club anymore. The last few years we've been doing Survey Monkey, and what we do is try to keep the majority of the questions fairly consistent year on year, so that gives us a benchmark to be able to analyse things back from year on year. But then we do also sneak in additional questions, which is the coach team meets midsummer and we also meet in the autumn and kind of do a reflection back on how has the year gone in our perspective and what do we think's worked and what do we think has not worked. And then those sort of things work their way into those feedback surveys to try and tease out from members whether they've got the same perceptions that we had. As much as giving us focus was trying to give the club a bit of PR, and when we were then trying to start negotiations and discussions about securing a long-term lease of the site, it gave us credibility, because then when we went to people like the county council and all the bodies associated with something like that long-term lease, they could see what we were trying to achieve. The club is a registered limited company, so we've got 3 directors of that limited company, and then they form a board which is also part of the club's administrative committee. So we've got 13 members on the admin committee, which is comprised of a chair, a vice chair, a treasurer, minutes secretary and a secretary. We've got a youth representative, volunteer coordinator, safety officer, and then the rest is just made up of members. Each year at the AGM we try and cajole new blood onto the committee, ideally newer members, just to keep it fresh and to get input from new members. Always try to find a committee that's kind of argumentative. It's quite good because it kind of makes you think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Not really into just everything going through on the nod.
I'm Jade and I've been a member for over 10 years now, since I was 10 myself. So I started off as a youth member and then gradually got my skills up myself, then become a coach and been on the committee for about 6-7 years now. Started off as the youth representative, and it's been great watching the building progress and just the club in general and watching it grow.
So for the last 2 years there's been a fairly flurry of activity of grant applications, planning applications, building regs, architects, an amazing amount of fundraising going on, which has become reality. And here we are. They've knocked it down, and in the last week we have something that looks like a building. And in 6 weeks from now it will be finished.